Welcome back to the latest video in my Hello World series. In this series, I'm working with the same form, a form with an input field and a run button that greets the user. They'll enter in their name. If they click run, it says hello and the name they entered. And if they don't enter in a name, it just says hello world. And what I'm doing is changing the logic behind that form and implementing it in different ways. I initially used this example to show how to use the C# razor action to just a basic example how to implement that using C# to do your logic. I then did the same form but used a C# razor token to show you how you could use a razor token to complete the exact same functionality. And then I came back and used just a basic create update token action, which should be probably the cleanest and the most basic way, straightforward way to implement the functionality. I now wanted to revisit the razor token one that I implemented, but instead of using C#, I want to show you how you can implement the exact same token in Visual Basic.net. So let's just give a brief example here of how it's working. If I type in David, it's going to say hello David. And if I leave it blank, it's going to say hello world. And I even can put in spaces. And when I click run, it's going to figure out that I just entered in spaces and it still says hello world. So I'm going to go ahead and click the pencil icon down here to switch us over to edit mode. And right click on the manage forms and do open a new tab. That's the way I get my form manager opened up in a new tab and I can flip back and forth between the two. If we scroll down to our run button, we're going to see I have two actions here. One is a create update token, which just sets our greeting field to the token that I created in the previous video, which is this hello token, passing in our name field. So we've got a name field, that's the field on the screen where the user's entering in their name. And then we've got a static field that is the greeting. We automatically get a name token and a greeting token for our code to use. And so that's what we're using down here. We set the greeting token by passing the name token to our custom hello token that we've created. So that is a lot of tokens, but it's handling all the logic for us. And then there's one action here, that's the update form data via Ajax. So if you're not using that action, you should really check it out. It allows your page to update without doing a post back, instead using JavaScript behind the scenes to update your fields for you. And it works great. It's a lot better user experience. But let's go ahead and dive in to the functionality of changing our token. So I'm going to go ahead and open up one more browser window and head over to my tokens. And we've got a namespace here, Veovia Tech, and here is our hello token, right? And so we're going to create the same token, but we're going to implement it in Visual Basic. So if we go ahead and create a new token, and I'm going to call this hello VB, right? And down in our definition, we are going to do a razor token, but we're going to switch this to VB.net. Okay, so now it's time to enter our razor definition. Instead of the curly braces coding block for VB, we actually do @code. So that's going to be our first difference. And down here at the bottom, we do encode. VB is a very verbose programming language. It makes it easier to read, but takes a little bit more typing. So the first thing we need to do is declare our greeting variable. So we're going to declare that as a string. And we're going to set it to hello world, exclamation point. Okay, now we're going to declare our name, right, just to store in, and there's the same tokens parameter object that gets passed into us, and we have our name token after this. So Plantain App does us the nice courtesy of taking all the tokens that are in the system and populating them onto this token params object. And so any token that you would be referencing with square braces in your action list, so you can go ahead and reference off of this token params of the same name. Make sure you do a toString at the end, and for good measure, just to make sure you're converting that to a string. So now we need to do an if statement, and we're going to do not is our string is null or white space, right? And we're going to check our name. Then, like I said, it's a lot more verbose with this language. We're going to go ahead and set our greeting field and override that. to do hello. And our concatenation character in VB is an ampersand. And then our name that was passed in, another ampersand, and then an exclamation point. Right? And so if I've coded this right, and I do save and test, oh, we got nothing, and that's because we got to scroll down here, and we still need to do our @ and write greeting out into the output. So now if I test this, I do save and test, we get hello value here because it's populated over here. We're going to go ahead and switch this to David, and then I should get hello David, and I'm going to switch this to blank, and down here we'll get hello world, and I can put spaces in there, and we'll still get hello world. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to copy this. We're going to go back to our action form. We're going to expand this, and we actually can just change this to VB. Right, so now we're using our new VB token. I go ahead and click save. And I go back to our form. And if I go in here, why don't we even, just to prove that we are actually in the VB1, we're going to change this and do from VB, right? So our message is going to be a little bit different, right? And so if I update this here too, so we'll do from VB, right? So we'll do save and test. If I do blank, it should be hello world from VB. Perfect. So now let's go over to our form, and we're going to go ahead and put in David. Click run, hello David from VB. And if we blank that out, click run, hello world from VB. And put in some spaces, click run. And once again, we still have hello world from VB. So that was just a demonstration how you can do the exact same thing that I did in C# in the previous video using VB.net. So whatever language you feel comfortable with, you can use in these tokens, these Razor tokens, to implement the logic that you want to use. Now, unfortunately, on the Razor action side, you can only use C#. So the way those are set up right now, you have to use C#. So I don't know if that's a feature that they're going to bring to us in the future where you can use VB for that. But on the action side, you'll need to use C#. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this gave you a little bit more information, a little bit more confidence in using those Razor tokens and being able to pick whatever language you want to use. If you had any questions or comments or ideas for future topics, feel free to put those down below for the comments. If you need any help with future development on projects, whether it be Plantinap or any other custom software development, feel free to head over to our website, veoviatechnologies.com, and reach out to us via the Contact Us form. And if you want to stay up to date on our future videos as we're putting those out, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Other than that, happy coding.